It's funny, I think a movie opened over the weekend. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but I heard that a few people saw it.
The Spider-Man movie franchise has been setting box office records since 2000, with 2 movies raking in over $1 billion worldwide. This weekend, Spider-Man 3 opened around the globe, making $148 million domestically. But do the film's profits mean that the movie was any good? Theaters sold tickets in advance months before the film hit screens, ensuring a healthy opening weekend before anyone had a chance to see it. But once critics had seen the film, they said that it suffered from the Batman syndrome. Too much fan service and not enough substance.
What does it matter to you anyway?
Did Hollywood rest on a cash cow without delivering the goods? Or did Spidey fans get exactly what they wanted? Strap on your web shooters, true believers. It's The Loop.
Boy, could you sense my excitement there, folks? My guest tonight, E! Entertainment's resident film expert, Ben Lyons, and our maven of all things movie, Chris Gore. Welcome to The Loop, everybody. This is going to be a fun one. Let's start with you, Chris.
What's going on, Kevin? How are you, man?
Ben, I'm doing very well, thank you. But Chris is the longtime Spider-Man fan. I know that. We've chatted about it a lot. I know you love the first 2 films. Start us off, Dr. Gore. What'd you think?
First of all, I thought this was great. I think this is the best of the 3 films. Best action sequences. I think it's the best drama. It paid off everything that the first 2 films set up. This is one that if I bought the box set on DVD, this is the one I would watch over and over again. So I thought it was fantastic.
Ben, save us.
Wow, that's a big statement there, Chris. I think the first one is still the gold standard. I mean, the first one is where Spider-Man really becomes Spider-Man. He gets bit by the spider. He finds out how to use his powers. And I agree with Chris, though. I did enjoy the third one. A lot of people are having problems with it. I think for what it is, though, it's a lot of fun. It's a family movie, something that the second one was a little darker maybe for some younger audiences, and I think this one will be the best around the world as evidenced by this weekend.
But Ben, I'll give you that in one, we see Peter Parker become Spider-Man, but in this one he became Jared Leto. I mean,
he did.
We got the emo death cab for Parker, jazz tap sequence.
But that was the funniest part of the film, was that sequence, which is sort of an ode to the sequence in the second film. I mean, what this movie did is it did everything better. The best action, the best Stan Lee cameo of all the Marvel films. I mean, it was the best Bruce Campbell appearance, where he actually has not just a couple lines, he's actually in a full scene.
I'll give you that Bruce stole it, Chris.
Totally off base on this.
But not just the critics. Everybody groaned at the My Chemical Tap dance scene.
But see, for the hardcore fanboys like Chris, they're obviously satisfied. These are kids who live and breathe this stuff. And I think for sort of the passive moviegoer, the moviegoer who's saying, hey, it's the big movie this weekend, so I'll go see it. I think those are the people who are really disappointed with this latest Spider-Man.
So, Ben, are you willing to forgive the perfectly convenient amnesia and the world's worst butler and the top secret sand experiments that are secured by a chain link fence?
You know what? All that stuff is good fun, and I think the franchise is for a broad audience. It's more poppy than, say, the X-Men movies or the Batman franchise the way it is now, which sort of geared to a much older audience. I think this appeals to, 6-year-olds, both here in the States and around the world, and them making the omelets and doing the twist and whatever. I got no problems with that stuff. It's all in good fun.
Now, Chris, Ben mentioned that, a lot of people went and saw it because, hey, what was the big movie opening this weekend? Do you think that was the sort of, I have to see this since everybody's going to be chatting about it online and at the water cooler phenomenon? Is that why this movie pulled in so much?
Yeah, it's also to avoid spoilers. I mean, there were a lot of rumors going around that Mary Jane was going to die in the film, and obviously that didn't happen.
A boy could dream, huh?
Who knows? It could happen in the fourth one.
Well said, Kevin.
But look, all these complaints I hear, it's, you know what? I think you guys are just bitter critics. I mean, give me a break. This is like the James Bond movies. The James Bond movies are all the same. Here's your new tech. Here's this big opening action sequence. Funny line to a girl with big boobs. Yes, the Spider-Man movies are kind of the same. They're following the same pattern. MJ is a tool of the villains at the end. We've seen that in the last 2 films. But this is the version that's done best. I mean, so I think in a way, it's like there have been 20 James Bond movies. There could be 20 Spider-Man movies.
The franchise is going to have a lot of problems in the future when it tries to continue on for 4, 5, 6, and 7. It can't do what Batman did and take it back to the beginning, because the beginning of Spider-Man is him finding his powers. Like we said, we saw that in number 1. So you can't go back and do Peter Parker as a kid in 10th grade in Queens or something.
Obviously, you can't tell that story, but you could show like a 30, 40-year-old married Spider-Man or just something something where it's like,
Well,
Boy, there you go. That
so what
sounds
you're saying is like
exciting.
The Dark Knight.
There is a
Spider-Man
way
with
to
a
do
beer
something new
watching
with the
a football
franchise.
game and a gut on the couch. There you
That
go.
would be funny. That'd be a different take. Let's see a different take on Spider-Man.
All right, well, let's get the final word on Spider-Man, actually. Ben, we'll start with you. Is there any reason to make like a Spider-Man 4 other than the bottom line after this film?
As far as in terms of the characters go and where the love relationships have gone in the franchise, I don't think a real need. I don't think there's sort of any hanging questions that have been left unanswered. I think you will see, obviously, 4, 5, 6, and 7 because they're going to make a lot of money. And another reason why this film did so well is because it's been a slow month of April in 2007. Shia LaBeouf was #1 at the box office 3 weeks in a row, and the numbers didn't really, or they weren't that impressive. You know, last week the #1 in a movie in America only made around $9 million.
All right, Chris, who should he fight number 4? Assuming it's going to come, I know you liked it.
I think Paris Hilton is Black Canary, and they can use special effects to make her smart.
All right. I want to thank my guests, Ben and Chris, for keeping us in this tangled web we weave,
fellas.
known as The Loop. Thanks, guys. All right. Listen, I was 100% behind this movie until I found out that the evil black goo version of Spider-Man is not a true villain, but sort of a Hot Topic shopping, cranky emo kid who's on the Fall Out Boy street team. But hey, listen, you know, the film 1 and 2, those were good, right? And as far as franchises go, 2 out of 3 isn't that bad, right? And seriously, if you haven't seen it, save yourself the $12 and just watch Heroes.
Attack of the Show, weeknights at 7, only on G4.